Welcome to CBAN's Member Spotlight, a podcast where we spotlight on the CBAN members that make our organization great, that support us in all the ways that they do, and allows us to learn more about their stories and share them with the industry as a whole. I'm Curtis Dean, your host, and today we're shining that spotlight on the folks at Patriot Communications. Patriot Communications, a CBAN associate member, and you guys have been associate members since almost the very beginning of CBAN, so I want to thank you for that. On camera here, you've got Logan and you got Krystal Nielsen. This is a powerhouse husband-wife team at Patriot Communications. Guys, thanks for coming on today.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah. So let's kind of give everybody the little elevator speech. Introduce yourself to the community. What is Patriot Communications? What do you do?
Well, we are a fiber to the home company. We started Patriot Communications 2006. Before that, I was working under a Dish Network company and kind of moved up the ranks. I was one of the technicians that dealt with repeat trouble calls. So if somebody went out 2 or 3 times and couldn't get something to work, they would send me out. And I heard a lot of complaining while I was in that role. So I learned a lot and really it was Krystal that kind of gave me the final push to do this on my own. And that's how Patriot started, is we were installing dishes for ourselves. Krystal's parents were our actual first customers. So,
but yeah, we're not just fiber to the home. We do fiber to the premise. We do a lot of different things. But we've been in business almost 20 years for just evolving with the industry. Yeah, like you said, started with Dish Network installations, and then when fiber became a thing, as internet world exploded, we, were able to get into that with some local companies, and we've just grown from there and evolved.
Well, I got to ask you, and I don't want to get too personal here, but I got to ask you, been doing this together as a team for a long time.
Yeah.
And you're still a team, and you're still able to sit close to each other for this. What is that? What's that process like? Because, I've heard that there's several people I've talked to over the years say, "Oh, don't ever work with a friend or a spouse. It's a disaster, whatever." But obviously it's worked for you.
Yeah. We hear that all the time. I can never work with my husband, or I can never work with my wife or sister or sibling or whatever. And I don't know. I think we just naturally have our own qualities that we bring to the table. And so the division of the work just works out, he's in the field and knows the technology and knows all of that stuff, while my forte is more the background stuff, sales and running the office and that. And so it just it just works. We stay in our lanes and we work together. When we need to, we're a team, so in all aspects of life. So actually it works really well. And when I need a day off, then
the boss.
I know. Yeah.
Well, you are the boss too, though, so maybe he needs to ask you when he needs a day off. Well, speaking of days off, we were just talking before we started recording, and as we're recording this, it's the first week in December, and Mother Nature has decided to present us with a blanket of white stuff. So
a big blanket
of white stuff. So Logan, I imagine, what you do is a pretty seasonal business, just like a lot of other construction oriented companies. Talk about what happens in the off season when you can't be out trenching in fiber or cable, or you're limited on what you can do at customer premises for your people that you work for.
Well, actually, it's the perfect time of year to bring that outside plant crew in, and we work strictly on, or mainly on, multi-dwelling units.
Okay.
Since most of our work is in the Midwest, I will not go up in attics and fish walls when it's July, August, and it's 1,000 degrees in an attic. So I'm certainly not going to make my guys do that. Winter time is the perfect time to get them up there. It's nice and cozy, and we start wiring out apartment buildings.
Yeah. And there's plenty of that work
Yeah,
to be had, isn't there?
absolutely.
I know for a fact because you folks have been Patriot has been doing a lot of great work for a number of CBAN members, and some of those CBAN members have a significant percentage of their total dwelling units in their community are MDUs. What are some of the challenges with doing what you do in that MDU setting?
Well, first and foremost, it's the landlords or the tenants. That in itself can be a challenge, but mainly the building itself. I swear no two buildings are alike, but we have had to get very creative on the way that we wire them, and maintain our standard of excellence. We wanted to make sure that these units are turnkey when we turn them over for installation. So coordinating all of that, and then if we have a 50 or 60 unit building, we post our own notices that we're doing the work there. So if people have questions or concerns, they can contact me directly, and people work third shift, so it's a whole lot of different families in one building that makes it very interesting and challenging, but we love it at the same time.
And I think he's really set the standard on the quality for MDU work too. He's been to some buildings that have been wired out by other folks, or they're not able to. They say they can't get the work done. There's just no way possible. And then Logan comes in there, and he's able to figure it out. How because those people need that live in the apartments and condos and everything. It's just as important for them to have access to high quality internet, just like anybody, the people that live in homes,
Absolutely.
So yeah, we understand the importance of that. And Logan is always able to find a way to bring it to them. So yeah, I think we're really good in that category.
We don't gift wrap these buildings and wires. I'll put it that way. Everything is ran internally inside the walls, and we'll fish it from level to level. So
okay. Yeah, I've seen that spaghetti thrown against a few apartment buildings in my experience, and that's good to know you try to avoid that. I would imagine well, you mentioned you got a lot of cooks in the kitchen here when it comes to a MDU, right? You've got the tenant, all they want is internet. You got the property owner who may or may not want you to mess around with anything. Is that what's the special skill for finding a pathway for those? Logan, is that your special sauce? Is that Krystal on the back end doing a little persuasion? How does that work?
I mean, honestly, you just got to gain their trust. And I fortunately have, I bring pictures and photos of the work that we've done in the past, and really try to just get a feel from, the building owner, the landlord, whether they see this as being, important enough to let us in. And usually it just takes a little bit, back and forth, but I always hit my mark. So I've never gone to a building that we haven't been able to wire out or make, the owner happy.
So let's talk about your customers. Your customers are primarily broadband providers, correct?
Correct.
So are they big companies, little companies, a little bit of everything? Talk about your customer base, these providers that you're doing this very important work for.
Yeah, no,
it's a little bit of everything. I mean, we've done very small rural internet providers that are upgrading their systems, you know, out in the middle of, you know, nowhere, South Dakota, and to municipalities, co-ops, yeah, it's kind of just a mixed bag, and we're happy to help out and wherever we can. But yeah, big and small.
Yeah.
No job too small,
Yeah.
you know, because sometimes there's companies like us that, you know, they're only out there looking in the big cities, but I mean, to bring internet to rural folks is so important, you know, that whole digital divide thing, you know, that's out there. So, so yeah, we go everywhere, anywhere, to provide that for people. So.
What kind of feedback do you get from the end users, the people who you're there putting in helping with the installation on behalf of the provider? You know, what's that? Talk a little bit about that process you go through with them, because, you know, you mentioned it's almost like forming a new relationship.
It is.
And each and every premise, every customer has a specific approach or a need, and you have to kind of meet them where they are, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, and it always starts with that first impression, the importance of that, and it's equally, if not more important, the last impression. When I'm on site or my guys are on site, if they're entering somebody's home or apartment building or condo, knock on the door, and the first thing we do is we slip on our boot covers. You know, that's sending a message that we are professionals. We're in uniform, and we're going to respect your home as much as if it was our own home. So,
and whoever we're working for,
yeah,
too, whatever name we're representing, it's really important to us that we represent them well. You know, customer service, that's kind of where, you know, I also am huge on a customer service aspect. And sometimes, you know, you might get a little pushback from certain folks that feel like they're being forced into this change. And then it might just be a little bit of education, which I think our, you know, Logan and technicians, to educate those folks, to help them out to understand that is so important, because we don't want anybody being left frustrated when we leave with a, you know, new way of how things are being ran in their home. And then there's folks that are excited. They know what, you know, fiber brings, and they can't wait for us to get there, you know. So so yeah, it's a little bit of
the 7 and 8 year old kids are running around jumping for joy because they know
exactly hey, I can finally stream my things.
They help mom and dad get re-signed into everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Children are the greatest sales for any kind of good broadband provider, because they, you know, they have their own needs. They're maybe not quite as important as mom and dad, but they still have their needs, and they have a little bit of influence in that household.
Right.
So.
That's right.
Yeah. But you still get, you know, Betty on Main Street that wants her same telephone number, and she'll tell you she doesn't know how to turn a computer on, and she doesn't know anything about fiber. She gets enough fiber in her diet as it is. She doesn't need any more, type of thing. But you've got to be able to adapt to those customers as well.
And usually by the time our techs are leaving, Betty's sending cookies out the doors.
I love it.
You know, I mean, yeah, that's really the kind of service that we want to provide the customers of our clients, you know.
Absolutely. But one of the challenges that I know you face, because I've worked with you guys in relation to some of the CBAN members that you've helped with projects, is just getting in touch with people. Talk about that a little bit, Krystal. I know that, you know, we tend not to answer our phones like we did in the old day, because there's so much garbage that we get. We may not check our emails. You know, how have you guys, how have you gone around that? I mean, how do you overcome that difficulty in communicating and reaching out to people that
Yeah.
need and want these services.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy because when we first, were heavily getting into fiber to the home work, it was on the phone, and the people answered the phones. This was even just like 8-9 years ago. Now, yeah, you're absolutely right. To get a hold of customers, it sometimes doesn't work that way anymore. A lot of people don't even have home phones. They have the cell phones. So we just adapt. We've moved to texting if we have to. Almost everybody answers a text these days. So yeah.
And then the last resort, and what we do a lot with the MDUs, the building owner, landlord will send out emails that we're coming. I still show up a day or two beforehand, and I post my own notice with my information on there that, this is what we're doing. This is the area we're going to be working in. All of my guys are wearing high vis, because sometimes we're able to wire a building from the outside and we're on ladders. So you don't necessarily want to see my bald face, staring through your bedroom window at, middle of the day. So the door posting, whether it's residential or MDUs, is always the best way to get a hold of people.
Yeah. Well, that's vital, that those lines of communications, that's the difference between the small providers that are CBAN members and big companies where, most of the companies that are in CBAN, the providers, they're the kinds that set appointments with people. They don't just say, stay home all day and I'll show up when I get around to it. So I really appreciate that, because there's a lot of consideration shown toward that customer that you don't always get with big cable or big telephone.
Yes.
So
absolutely
appreciate that.
Yep.
So before we go here, I just want to kind of pick your brain a little bit about what are some of the challenges that you as a company, the industry as a whole, are facing right now as we move forward and we continue to see more and more fiber facilities built out across the nation.
I'd say the biggest one right now is just supply. We've had some empty shelves and some things go on back order that have held some stuff up. But again, you make your adjustments. You never throw in the towel at that point. You just figure out a better way to come, to do it better and do it different without whatever parts you're missing. So you just
has labor supply been an issue for you?
No,
it was for a while, right after COVID, I would say. But we've definitely seen a turn in that within the last year for sure. It is not an issue anymore coming out of that era. Because
I'll knock on my desk, which is actually made of wood. So that is a challenge in some branches of the telecom industry, not only available labor, but willing labor and trained labor. Do you guys train most of your own staff, or are you getting experienced techs coming over to you?
No, I personally train all of my guys so that I can manage the expectations. If they have any issues, they come see me.
We get some guys with a little bit of experience, but we always feel like we got to train them the Patriot way anyway, so we'll take zero experience or a little bit of experience. But no matter what, they go through the same training. So everybody's doing it the same quality and standards that all of our clients have come to expect from us, from Patriot Communications,
Fantastic. Well, I've displayed the web address to Patriot Communications a few times during our conversation. Those of you who are listening on a podcast platform, go to the podcast description and I'll put that. It's just patriotcomllc.com, and you can reach out to these folks. I would assume that you're always interested in new business, so we'll just let people know that if they're looking for someone who can do a great job with this kind of on-premise installation, Patriot is ready to serve.
And we do underground work too. We do drops
You
too.
do.
That was
That's
something
right.
that we added over the years. We kind of got that was one thing we got tired of standing around waiting for
drops,
waiting for the other guy. Yeah, exactly.
So we started up a crew, very successful, and this year and next year we've got a second one that we're bringing up. So we're just going to keep growing and reinvesting in our company and doing things the Patriot way.
Well, the demand certainly is going to be there for a while. Even after BEAD, those funds are expended, there's still going to always be a need for networks to continue to be expanded. And as population shifts and grows, there's always going to be the need for what you guys do. So hats off to everything you do. And the Patriot way is obviously paying dividends for the both of you. So thank you guys
for everything you do too. This group that you put together, and the membership's been great, and connecting us with the industry and keeping us informed and out there. We really appreciate all that too. So.
Absolutely.
And hopefully I'll get to see your smiling faces at our spring summit in April. So information will follow soon. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we want to thank our guests today here on the Member Spotlight. I've been joined by Logan and Krystal. They are with Patriot Communications, a CBAN associate member. And we'll see you guys along the line soon. And thank you, everybody, for watching or listening to this episode of Member Spotlight.